Ladies and gentlemen, live from the WCRD studios at Ball State University, it's live from Letterman!
And good evening, Muncie. My name is Logan Browning, and you are listening to Live from Letterman, Ball State's only show where our hosts were grown up, being told that they had faces for the radio. As always, you like that one?
Yeah, I did like that one.
Joined with me always is my gator hat wearing sidekick, Mr. John Page. John, how you doing?
I'm okay. Very tired, but
I'm also very tired.
You know what's new. So
Yeah, I have now realized that we've been on air for 10 seconds, and I've sped through what's normally the first fifth of our episode. I feel the tiredness. I think it's a mixture of sugar high with slap happiness.
mine is more, that like when you're working on homework and you're tired, but then you hit that drive of like, I'm getting through my homework. I just keep like I'm getting through a good amount of work. Just keep working.
It's not drive.
You get that, that drive that you end up like that, like.
No, I'm a media student, dude. We don't have homework.
I just like, for me, like I was working on some homework. Like I came back from my apartment from today, and I was ready to just fall asleep in my bed. But I was like, I gotta work on a homework assignment, and I just started working on it. It's like a 1,000-word essay that I have to do. And I just started typing and like.
Oh, mine. No, I was screwed for screenwriting. Sorry if you guys just heard that.
You're getting into a fight with his mic.
For screenwriting today, our assignment was we had to create a pitch, outline, beat sheet, which is kind of like an outline, and then a treatment and research for a whole original screenplay idea. This was posted Monday night. I don't know any of you out there try to do stuff like this. I can't produce that in 3 days. I've been on a writer's block for like 6 years.
You could just. I mean, you've got some. Why don't you just pull out one of your old scripts that you haven't turned in?
Because I did that last year.
And then like just redo like the outline stuff and be like, this is what I made. I totally made it in 3 days.
Well, because the only two that I can think of that like I've done, you have lived 2 feet away from me as I did them.
Yes.
And firsthand experience, I didn't have an outline.
No, you just started. That's the thing is that like for some writers, I don't feel like I know that there's some that like, well, you have to have an outline. Like I might write, if I want to write like a short story, I might write like a quick description about like what's going to happen in the story.
That's more or less
and
what
then
a
like
treatment would be.
And then I go, and then from that I write,
just
20,000 words.
Yeah, mine I always told people, I'm like, I don't do a treatment, but I do when you look on the back of the DVD.
Yeah.
And you read like a little blurb, but it's about. They're like, Jermaine, they're like, it should have everything. And I was like, yeah, no, this is.
It's about everything.
I was like, I don't know what anything is. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that sounds fine.
He's a dude. He has 10 fingers and 10 toes.
I don't understand all this extra work you have to make me do to get the same product that you do if I did half the work.
Precisely. You're going to get the same amount of dick pages. Or dick jokes per page.
Yes.
It's not just printed out photos in the middle of the script. Let me correct myself there. Okay, but other than being tired though, as always, it's been another week.
It's been another week in Muncie, Indiana.
Okay. That's fair. Another week smelling like raw sewage or a gas leak.
I've begun to say after like when I lived my sophomore year in Muncie alone,
the PS of the story is, Logan, you ruined everything when you moved in.
No, so when I lived alone, I pretty much like kind of like started to think that Muncie was like my second home. Mm-hmm. I've got Noblesville, which I was raised there, but growing up, but now being in Muncie, kind of having my own place, having to take care of myself since I didn't really know anybody. It definitely started to feel like home, but every time I walk out and it smells terrible in Muncie, I'm like, I would love to be out of here as soon as possible.
See, I'm starting to hit that point too already, but my thing is like, I'm ready to not be here. I'm also ready to not be in Noblesville. So it's a weird in between point right now.
Mine is like, I go to Noblesville for a couple of weeks and then I'm like, I want to go back to Muncie. And then I'm in Muncie and I'm like, oh my God, I got to get back to Noblesville as soon as possible. So it's a weird flip-flop.
Really quick, before we introduce our guest, I have to explain this question to him. Have you noticed that? It smelled like raw sewage the past, 2 weeks.
Have you walked out and been like, oh, wow, it smells like someone defecated?
It does. I actually heard that it was fertilizer. They use, cow manure
that's what
or something.
it smells like. It smells like cow manure.
But what are they still fertilizing?
According to the local legends.
It's October.
Literally, the harvest is over.
I know. So, what are they doing?
That's a good point. But it's been 2 weeks. It's been
if it was June and it smelled like crap because they were putting manure everywhere, okay, fine, I understand. But it's October, everything's dead or dying. I mean, what are you laying mulch down for?
Keep it from dying.
Apparently,
They're like, this will work.
So. I mean, I did hear that because you smell it and you're like, that has a distinct smell of strong manure.
Yes.
It doesn't
which is actually my new fragrance available at Macy's. Never.
Strong manure.
Strong manure.
So yeah, I don't know. I have no clue. I wish that we would get an email because I want to complain to the university and be like, give me an answer. I want to know why it smells bad. I'm not mad. I just want to know.
I think that's just Muncie, man.
It might be Muncie, but it smells
Let's go straight to the top.
But it smells like that all around campus. It's not just one area. It's not like the frats smell like manure, and it's not like the Wheeling or what's that, McGalliard. It's not like McGalliard smells like manure. It's just campus.
Well, it's one of those. It's started to happen more. I'm glad Muncie has finally adopted the way I saw it in my mind.
Manure.
If someone had to make Muncie a clip from SpongeBob, it'd be the Sunday morning when the green breath was just coming out of him.
Oh,
it was
yeah,
so
yeah,
rotten.
yeah.
That's just always how I saw Muncie.
I feel like,
and I'm glad the world's finally reflecting
Ball State
that.
and Muncie. So the scene where Biff crashes into the manure.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, where you're in college, you're on your own, and then you're having fun, and then you slam into the manure truck that is Muncie, Indiana.
See, but the fun you're implying is trying to run over a kid on a skateboard.
Well, yeah.
And then give him Parkinson's or whatever.
That's the fun. You got to get the fun. But the fun escapes you because you're in Muncie.
You're specifically the part when Biff spits out the manure ball from his mouth. Yeah, that's specific. From that comment, that's what you're deemed to be.
Yeah.
And I'll be Flea from Back to the Future too.
Oh, great.
From Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
Because for some reason
he was in that movie. Yeah.
He was in that. Then he was in 3. He's the guy that wants to race Marty at the end and the accident that.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was in 1.
No, he's not in 1.
No, but he was in 2 and 3.
2 and 3, yeah.
That tracks. Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Fun fact there.
I think that's enough.
I didn't know that until today.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Flea.
Elijah Woods in Back to the Future 2.
Yeah.
He's a little kid.
Everyone knows that one now.
Everyone knows Elijah Wood.
Oh my gosh, it's Frodo in the Back to the Future. It's okay, cool. All right.
That's all I can. Him and Flea. What a crazy guy, Flea. I love how any acting role I see him in, they're just like, man, we need a scumbag.
Let's get this guy. He's got a really bony face and big teeth.
Let's get this guy, the human. If you looked up heroin in the dictionary, the embodiment. I don't even know if he's done heroin.
I
know, but I don't even know if he has. It was post Nikki Sixx era, so I don't know. But I think he's just if you were to look up opioid addiction,
I feel like if
you know what, I take that back. And I do put out sincerest apologies because I do think he did have an opioid addiction.
My thing is
that
if you saw him, if you were in Detroit, Michigan, and you saw him on the street, and he'd be like, "Hello, sir, could you please give me $1?" You would not question it for a second that was,
Flea from the Red Hot.
Flea.
I may, I don't know if they are. You know what would make sense?
You might be like, yeah, here.
We're friends.
You might go, here you go, sir, and then you might walk a little bit, and like, wait a minute, was that Flea from the Red Hot Chili? Wait, what?
Wait a minute, he just gave it away now.
Yeah, you'd be like, wait a minute,
what just happened? When the Californication?
Exactly.
Yeah, that was them, right? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't listen to the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Don't make me doubt my Red Hot Chili Peppers. Well, I'm glad that we kept that on for 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's way too long.
It's about time we introduce our guest here today, ladies and gentlemen. Today's kind of a first for this, which I think is very cool. Today is a guest who reached out and was like, hey, I want to be on.
Wow.
And I was like,
no one's
yes.
ever done that before.
No, it's usually us bullying people an hour before the show.
Like, can you please come on?
Can
Like,
we
we
please?
really need a guest.
I swear,
You know,
I
like,
will.
Fine, I got an hour. And then
Yeah.
Really? Was I really the first to?
You were the
actually
first to
reach
reach
Yeah.
out and ask.
Wow,
I
yeah.
think. I think you were the
because I remember. I think
first.
Sky was like, "Yeah, I'll help you guys."
Sky
out."
reluctantly did it after I bullied her.
Maggie was.
Me begging her.
She was just like
Because our guest for that day dropped.
She's like,
You got like a
okay.
hostage situation type thing going on here.
Yeah.
like-
Yeah, kind of.
You just kidnap them,
Not far off.
make them
It's like
talk.
Jack Black and the Muppets. Be like,
And the lights out.
be like,
Sam,
what's
you go
What's more important? Briefly, what is it?
Is briefly like inconveniencing Jack Black or the destruction of the Muppets. Kidnapping Jack Black, Fozzie! We're 20. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Hayden Brucker. Yeah?
Brucker, you're so close, man. You're
Is
so
there
close.
an N in there? Or am I just making that up?
There's no N. A lot of people put an N in there, but
I
no.
don't know why. I don't know where to keep
For those of you who don't know, Logan was asking our guest.
Oh, yeah, you asked me this like 10
name.
minutes
Like,
ago.
how do you say
Yeah,
it? Do you
I
say
know.
Bruckner? Like, and then he's like, he told us several
He's told me. I do apologize.
No, I get it all
he
the
told
time.
me, and I remembered it, and that's why the amount of fear that just filled me right before I opened my mouth. And it was wrong. But, Hayden, welcome to the show. We're very happy to have you, and we're glad you reached out.
It's great to be on here.
Yeah,
Fun. We're
there we go.
excited. So, Hayden, obviously you're a student at Ball State University.
Yes, I am.
Just be very weird if you were. I don't know how you got in.
Snuck in.
To all the unlocked buildings. Am I wrong?
No. Technically, these are all owned by the government, so
Yeah.
you can come in whenever he wants.
Come and do what you want. What are you studying here?
I am a media major, and I concentrate in multimedia production.
Okay, good. Because I have a question about that. Because everyone we've had on has either been obviously video or audio. Because either a couple friends in audio or kids I know in my video classes. What is multimedia production?
I get this question a lot, and
Yeah.
it's a hard question because it's a wide array of things.
Right.
But a lot of it is like digital design, like graphics, social media. Just well, I chose multimedia because you can like do so much with it. So after college, it'd be pretty useful to find a job, I think.
Yeah, no, see, that's when the moment you said that, like, it's hard to explain, there's a bunch to it. That's why I was kind of branch that then. Was then, like, where, like, what is it to you? Like, where do you hope to go with it,
I don't know yet.
That's fair. Dude,
I
that's
really.
fair. I don't know what I
they're
want
like-
for dinner after the show tonight. Like,
I love how they go like in high school. It's like, oh, don't worry, you don't need to know what you want to do with the rest of your life. And then like you get to college and like they're still saying like, oh, don't worry, don't need to know what you're doing with the rest of your life. It's like I'm paying you $25,000 to tell me what I'm supposed to do with the rest of my life. Do you think you could give me some ideas?
every time I hear stuff like that, it just reminds me of the John Mulaney bit. They're like, you could say I already gave you $120,000 and you spent it already?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What did you do with my money, Dr. Mearns? Dr. Mearns. President Dr. Mearns.
Is he a doctor?
I would assume he has
I'm glad we...
I would assume
I don't know,
he
I'm
has
just
to have his
wondering.
doctorate to be a president of a university. But I could be
Well,
completely
I
wrong.
mean... So, I teed up a joke in my brain, automatically forgot the joke.
Great.
But, no, dude, that's fair. Don't know what you're doing. That's cool. No, John makes a really good point, yeah. See, I had the exact opposite in high school. Whereas, remember, especially junior and senior year, my teachers always kept having little things where they're talking about, like, you have to know. You have to know 100%.
I know.
And I'm like, oh, okay. And then, then we got here and they're like, oh.
I feel like no one really knows. We're all just
No.
kind of figuring it
Well,
out
like,
as we go.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I've said it before for at least for the major that I'm in, for sports admin, like everyone who comes in, like we all have been, watching football on Monday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Like we've all been watching football, or we've gone to NBA games, or maybe we've played a bunch of sports, all these big time professional sports that we've all loved playing. We go in and we're like, oh, I want to work for the Indiana Pacers, or I want to work for the Los Angeles Dodgers or whatever. And then you come in and a teacher's like, oh, you want a job in professional sports? There is no way. You are too bad at what you do. You will never ever get a chance to even walk into a locker room of the LA Dodgers. Don't even try. Just go work for like the community center or something. It's like, okay.
That I keep running into is at least one professor every year always starts off with, so if you guys want to make it like in Hollywood, if you guys want to go in the movie business, you're not going to get that from here. And I'm like, great.
What am I paying
Good to know.
for?
I'm in my junior year and you waited till now to tell me?
I know.
Like, what the heck?
At least, I feel like I had all the good teachers usually tell you that early, but some of the teachers that I'm having now, because now I'm in 400 level classes, now they're telling me like, oh, this dream you've had since you were like, I don't know, 13, it's never gonna fucking happen. So sorry. Whoops.
You cannot say that on TV.
No, I know. I goofed. That's my bad.
It's okay. I will make sure to solo out that audio track.
Give you the little bleep.
We all knew. I mean, you and I knew that it was going to happen one of these days.
And you whispered it, so it's okay. This case for those along who didn't hear at home. John Pace let a little word slip.
Yeah, I did.
Naughty word.
I'd like
Naughty
to.
word.
It's a no-no on the radio.
Yeah, it is a no.
Did
Yeah.
you not listen to George Carlin?
No.
7 things you can't say on TV.
Oh yeah.
Let's go through the words right now. Number 1.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, back to our guest here.
We need to quick.
You'll know we get on so many tangents.
Yes, and it's not
Your 10-minute interview will turn into 50. Just because John and I are arguing about which Superman's better.
I'm fine with that.
You're the guest. You're important.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
You sound so unsure.
I want to keep you on your toes. Okay, so multimedia production. And so you want to do were you wanting, I know you said you weren't completely sure, but like, what drew you to it? Was it like the graphics sort of thing, or?
I think it kind of started with like social media back in middle school, because I don't know, I was like a teen. I'm like, oh, social media, Instagram, and then I don't know, it became like, hey, I could like do this for a career,
Yeah.
And
media's easy. I mean,
so
ish.
I tell people that all the time. Yes. I'm like, you losers, shows are real majors. Like, this is...
You want an easy major, just do media. Yeah. It's fun too.
Yeah. So you kind of like, would you want to be like a social media manager for like a business or an organization or something? Is that kind of like something you have like, maybe not like what you want to do, but something you have like in your mind that you could potentially do coming out of college?
Or are you going like influencer route?
Yeah, you're gonna go.
No, like, I couldn't be an influencer.
You're like, what's up, my hay dogs? What's up, my hay bales?
No, there's a special breed for that.
Hay bales.
What's up, my hay bales? Welcome back to the
hay
channel.
bales. I'm gonna start saying that now. But yeah,
so would you be more like? Because I know like for social media managers, I don't know. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about it. I know that that's a big profession for a lot of sports organizations. Would you want to be like running the actual account, or would you want to be like making the graphics that get posted to the Twitter, to the Facebook, to the Instagram account?
Or both.
Yeah, kind of like a mix of both.
Both, yeah.
Yeah, I've been going back and forth for the longest time. Like if I want to do like social media, or if I want to do, motion graphics. Like I'm taking the class for it right now. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, both of those are super cool. So I could do like a combination. That would be like the dream job,
Yeah. No, see, this is so cool to me because I mean, so far, one in guests that we've had here on the show, but then beyond that, just people I've met in class and stuff have all one way or another have either been film focused or like music focused. And this is cool to me hearing that. Like I always forget there is that third kind of third category in our major. That is because there's a bunch of the video classes, a bunch of the audio classes that we always feel like we're all involved in, but like we didn't really get much of a multimedia class.
Yeah,
like, especially in intro. I don't know what you would call it, or gateway.
Like the gateway classes. Yeah,
we had. I mean, one that we learned like After Effects and Photoshop and stuff, but I was like that was about it. Nothing really, which is weird. Now that where's that? I think we need like, I don't know if we do. So if you're taking this, correct me. But kind of like a management-centered class.
I'm
stuff
sure
like
that
that.
exists out there,
They
but
has to.
yeah,
They
it
have,
has
like-
to.
I mean, I've had to take management classes before.
But I mean, kind of like media management.
That's what I mean.
Yeah?
Like
Okay, good.
I mean, it's not its own course, but you'll take
Right.
like Management 300, and it'll be like, this is how you manage this. This is how you manage this. This is how you work in a team. So stuff like that. But it's not really a media focused sort of management on like how to run a social media account. It's more just like basics because it's a basic level course.
Well, that was the thing that we've been running into is in my advanced video class, super cool. Yesterday, our professors had us down and we like spent the whole class basically discussing like we're a little over halfway. Like, okay, like I have the rest of the course laid out, but like, what do you guys want to learn and stuff? And that was like
What?
Like just like some stuff, like maybe we haven't touched on. We thought we wouldn't. And that was the big one that we all kind of universally agreed on was where like we don't know how to market or kind of like manage stuff like this. But I think he said he's going to add something about it. But it's like for me, it's like any film book you ever read always ends at post-production. Or it's like, okay, and like after editing sound, blah, 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 your movie's done. Congratulations. I'm like,
But then it's
okay,
not like, well, who do I show this to get it?
Yeah, so I was like, okay,
to
what
have it
now?
spread. And a lot of that just comes down to like knowing people, because if you're a producer, I would assume that you're the one who's kind of trying to figure out like, who's gonna distribute our movie,
Yeah, it's a matter of just getting it in the hands of the right people.
Yeah.
And then you may have to shop it around a bunch, but so that's what I'm saying. Sort of like those management classes or something like that. Like I was like, I feel like maybe they will as we go on forward, but like I feel like we needed like more dialed down classes like that.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I heard
Which
that they
looks so
actually
boring, but-
like this semester they started making like a multimedia class, but it's available towards like freshmen instead of well, I think were you a sophomore when you did Gateway?
Yes.
Well, I guess somewhat close to a freshman, but yeah, getting them started early on that kind of stuff, because I
then
know a lot of companies are looking for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, our gateway class doesn't even exist anymore.
Really?
Yeah, the gateway classes, they made us take audio and video are there, but they changed out the multimedia class at the end, because I remember our teacher told us that our first day of class. She was like, yeah, at the end of this year, this class isn't going to exist. It's like, why am I taking this? Well, because then I left, because then in like the graphics class I'm in now, same lane. We're learning like the exact same stuff.
Yeah.
And a bunch of my classmates from that year are still in it. We all just like look around and we're like...
Well, what I think would be interesting, what's kind of interesting is that like stuff like learning multimedia, like it's interesting because you can go to college and learn that stuff and get other things along the way. And then another part of it is like, if you just learn Photoshop and kind of have a decent knowledge of how to work social media, like you can also get into very similar social media manager. Obviously, like if you're going to make graphics for like the news or for like, big time, broadcasts and stuff, you kind of have to go to college for that stuff.
Yeah.
But like if you want to be a social media manager, it's such a new concept, even with social media being out for such a long time, but companies are still catching up to everyone.
Oh, yeah. No, I remember. So I work for the Corporation Group Car Wash. And at my old location, we were right next door to corporate.
Ooh.
And but
Not fun.
They would have kind of like media people there, like to make. We had like little training videos we have to watch weekly.
Yeah.
They post out and a bunch of stuff. And they were hiring like film people for that. But I remember that was before we took the class. I remember that was like one of the same criteria. They're like, you need to have a lot of experience with Photoshop, Premiere, After Effects. They're like, just if you can fake something, we're cool.
And it's not
The great words of the Professor Michael Jefferson. I'm cool.
Love Jefferson.
I do too. I have him this year for first time. He's awesome.
I think that's. I mean, I learned how to use Photoshop with one of my classes. You probably took it. I mean,
Knowing Photoshop is a blessing.
It is
yeah.
for
Knowing
a lot
Adobe, just any Adobe project.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you know Adobe, especially
Minus
in college,
the stupid pin tool. I hate the pin tool with a burning passion. I have nightmares about the pin tool.
I haven't used Photoshop in a very long time, but there was a period of last semester where I was taking basically a multimedia class where you had to learn like how to use Photoshop, how to use After, like all that stuff, just as a required course for management for whatever reason. I don't know why. And like I had some of the absolute worst Photoshops you've ever seen in your entire life. They were terrible. But then on my own time, I was making like backgrounds for myself for like my computer. Because, I mean, I'm a Browns fan, so I would like make backgrounds with like like a collage of players with like an orange background and stuff. I was like, I didn't look half bad. And like I made a couple for some friends. I never gave them to them, but I was like, hey, look, I made this. You could use it if you wanted. And then, but looking at the actual Photoshops and stuff that I did, I'm like, why? Like these look
Why
horrid.
didn't I just turn these in?
I know. Like there's one where it was purposely bad, but like I Photoshopped myself into Return of the Jedi.
Nice.
And it was me kind of doing like a weird pose, and then I Photoshopped into my clearly open hand plastic lightsaber. And then when people were asked, like when you do those intro assignments, that is the photo I submit every time. So that I'm like, here's a photo of me on the set of Return of the Jedi, because they'll be like, let me see your face so I know what you look like when you come into class, and I always turn that one in.
You don't use the Ghostbusters one I did?
I have used that one before.
Was
but
that last year or 2 years ago?
I think it was a couple of years ago.
He was on a job site with his dad. Did you have a vacuum?
I had a backpack vacuum.
And he just sent it to me and he goes, "Can you Photoshop me into the Ghostbusters poster?"
I said, "Can you make me?" What I think it was. I said,
"I think you were Egon."
Yeah, I said, "Can you make me Egon?" He was like, "Sure." And I got back like 20 minutes later, so I got a photo of me next to Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd.
That's the peak of my Photoshop career.
It looked really good.
I wasn't even using Photoshop, using Pick Mix Lite on my phone.
I know. See, I got another. There was another one that I got where it actually was kind of funny because he took a photo of me with like a wooden like walking stick, and then I had a blanket over my head, and he photoshopped me into the background of the Fellowship of the Ring. And then
that?
Yes, you did that. And I was like, it was awful because like partway down, you could then see Gandalf, and you just basically cut me in half and stuck the half part of me there. But then like you could still see like you basically made me gigantic, covered up, but then you could still see coming out of the side of my head the brim of his hat.
I do remember this.
And so like I said that to my dad, and my dad's like, I can make a better one. I was like, okay, try. And so he basically he had me take a photo of myself, send it to him, and then he cut out my face, put it on Gandalf's face, and then put the beard over my face. I was like, Dad, Logan's like 14. Why are you trying to fight him over Photoshop?
Dude, you're gonna have to show me this original one now. I gotta see it.
We will.
At like the end of the show, I have to see
I
it.
think I have it on my phone still.
Okay, I was like, I don't even remember. I remember a little bit, but all I'm hearing is that Mr. Page and I are about to have a Photoshop down. Challenge accepted. My seconds will call upon your seconds for this duel. But okay, cool. Multimedia, fun. Now this was a question I wanted to ask because I feel like this is one of the very few things I know about you here, Mr. Hayden. You play guitar, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. This is getting somewhere.
Oh boy.
Give me your top three.
My top three
Guitarist.
Jimi Hendrix, my number one favorite guitarist of all time.
Yeah.
Slash, he's iconic.
Yes.
Number three, Kurt Cobain. I love Kurt Cobain.
This pains me.
That's the only Nirvana song I know.
I have to ask a certain question.
What is it?
Cobain over Van Halen?
I honestly haven't listened to like a whole lot of Van Halen.
This concludes today's broadcast of Live from Letterman.
I think that's fair, though. I mean, if you have different music preferences, I mean, obviously there's going to be like, you can look at it like objectively and be like, well,
yeah,
listen to this guy's work. But then like, if you're someone who like likes that, grunge music, like I like that grunge music a lot. I think I like it a little bit more.
Kurt Cobain is a very good guitar player.
Yes,
Let me throw it out there.
Yeah.
And he's a great wind instrument.
God.
Hey, don't lose your head on that joke he did. Continue.
This is horrible. I said a bad word.
We're
You're
terrible
making
people.
very, very risky jokes.
Nirvana
This show is awful.
Nirvana had their shot and Kurt took it. Kidding. Courtney Love paid someone to take it.
No. Okay. Let's
Allegedly.
move on. What, is it, did you say top 3 or top 5?
Huh?
Did you say top 3 or top 5?
3.
3.
Okay.
I have heard Eruption by Van Halen though, and that is a pretty sick
I feel like
song.
everyone would say like that's.
Well, see, the vein, it's funny you mentioned that, Mr. John Page. Freshman year when we roomed together, I was listening to on my boombox because I didn't have it on vinyl yet.
That
I was
plays
listening
cassettes.
to Van Halen live right here, like right now. Great album, Van Hagar all the way. But they were playing, I believe on there it's under the name 316, but it's Eddie Van Halen's guitar solo, which in there is Cathedral 316, and then Eruptions, kind of like the finisher of that. And we're playing it, and I'll just never forget John going, so, like, is this just guitar?
Yeah, I asked. I was like, "Are they gonna sing at some point?" He's like, "Yeah, it's just a guitar." So I'm like, "Oh,
You're like, oh, this is kind of long. And I was
this
like,
is really long."
Eddie Van Halen.
Because I'm sitting there
Yeah.
thinking, I'm used to like AC/DC Kiss, where like the guitar solo is a big part of the song, but like they still sing. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, I don't hear any voices yet. This is a little weird.
And I'm there in my chair, I'm like, this is a work of art.
You're like, this is now, granted, now that I knew it, I was like, oh, okay. And then I was down for it. But then, like, before, I was, like, sitting there the whole time being like, this is a bad song. No one's even singing.
They're like, God, dude, these lyrics suck.
These lyrics suck.
You kind of
I
either
can sing
love
these
or hate
lyrics.
guitar solos, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I know Pink Floyd, they're very guitar solo heavy.
Yeah.
I'm wearing my Dark Side of the Moon shirt right now, just
I always-
repping.
I repping my Aerosmith shirt. John's repping his plain white t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a joke because there's a band called Plain White
Plain White Tees.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. I was just like, yeah, it's a plain white t-shirt.
But you teed yourself up. Now you got to give me your top 3.
Oh, no.
You asked. You said top 3. You got to tee it up.
Oh, I don't have a top 3. I don't listen to enough music to make
Okay,
it
here,
like...
I know you may not know the specific names, so can you tell me top 3, like, bands or groups or whatever that you like the guitarist from? I know one's Johnny Cash. I know he plays guitar.
I like him, but his guitar solos, I mean, like when you're talking guitar solos, like that stuff doesn't really compare. I mean, you'll hear like a guitar solo from, Eddie Van Halen, and you'll hear Johnny Cash and,
With his little acoustic.
with his acoustic guitar, and you'll be like, that doesn't
Ring
even
of
make any
Fire.
sense.
Cheated on my wife in the ring of fire.
Yeah, so I mean, I love Johnny Cash songs because sometimes when you want to be really sad, but you also want to feel like a cowboy, that's the perfect thing to listen to. Or if you want to feel like, or if you want to
It's
feel
very
like, or,
specific.
or if you want to feel like a depressed criminal, you listen to Johnny Cash because like that's all of his songs. Like, I broke the law and I'm in prison and everything's sad. Which is like half of his discography. I really like there's the one guitar solo that I love, and I would listen to it every time to get me like pumped up for anything, would be the guitar solo from Seven Nation Army.
Yeah.
I know that's extremely cliche.
No,
but
that one worked.
It's a
that
banger.
one,
It's a banger. Charlie Knight.
I listen to that one. That one's one of my absolute favorites. And then what's his name? I'm trying to think. I can't remember his name. He did for Justice League. He did the soundtrack. He did a version of
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Come Together. The guitar solo from that was fantastic.
Yeah,
So that's probably my 2 favorite.
that's okay. Yeah.
Like guitar solos I can name off the top of my head. Obviously, it's not like.
I mean, they don't even have to just be solos, just kind of guitar players.
Yeah.
That's the,
I guess, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people who can play guitar very, very, very well.
Yeah.
And then, I feel like the most popular people who play guitar, we've heard them so many times that you kind of just know.
yeah, like Slash.
Yeah.
Everyone
like,
knows Slash. Even if
like-
you don't listen to Guns N' Roses, you know Slash.
Yeah,
You
you'll
know
hear
the
it.
top
You'll hear it, be like,
hat, you know
oh, I
the
know
ears.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in that commercial where it was like,
That commercial
the
makes
commercial's
me
hilarious. Where
every
he just
time.
does a couple notes like, you're in. He's like, oh, sick.
He's like, oh, sick. My favorite one of those commercials was the we have a rat problem. Then they cut to Stephen Piercy and Rat. And there's the round and round. And my favorite one was the extended version of that because then he comes out and goes, dude, you're out of hairspray.
My favorite one is when they say, there's an animal in the basement or in the
It's
attic.
Animal from the
And it's
Muppets.
Animal from the Muppets on his drums.
Those are good. No, okay, so I would say my 3 are one is always Eddie Van Halen. Love me some Eddie Van Halen. Number 2 is probably Joe Perry from Aerosmith. I do really like mostly the moment you watch this man play his guitar like a piano. He did that once in concert. I lost my mind. Like, he just brought out the stand, just laid it down, and then just started like plucking away and like doing all the stuff. I was like, he's God.
I feel like they were
they
were intoxicated on some form of.
Nah, they're all clean now.
No, I'm saying when he found.
You.
No, not I'm saying right now. I'm saying like when they were doing terribly.
Yeah.
I feel like one time he just started doing that, and like one of them was like, "Wait, that actually sounds pretty good, man."
He was like, "Wait, that's kind of cool."
That's kind of cool. Like, I'll do it on stage, bro. I don't care.
The number 3 for me is the 3-way tie.
Ooh.
It's between Richie Sambora, which was Bon Jovi. He does like all the background vocals. I'm trying to think. You know the song "Living on the Prayer" when it's like the guy who just goes "Living on a Prayer." That's Richie Sambora.
Oh, okay.
Love him. His solo stuff's pretty cool. You would like him a lot. He also is kind of like the sad cowboy. His solo stuff.
Yeah.
I like it. It's really cool. Him, Mick Mars from Motley Crue.
Oh
yeah.
He's the most underrated guitar player of all time.
Oh yeah.
He is probably one of my. Like, if you asked me to like name like a guitar player that I like from like a legitimate rock band, he'd probably be the guy that.
Well, see, that's the thing because I always joked about, especially with the tour that we just saw him on. One still plays awesome, but I was like, I don't think I've ever seen. This is gonna sound musically, and I'll wrap this up because this is the conversation on my other show. But I was like, I don't think
This
I've
is
ever
a
seen,
naturally wired.
Yeah. I've never heard like so much power come from one thing at one time. Then when he always goes into like his solo, which turns into just honestly this giant like white noise jumble, and then just burn, and just goes straight into Kiss around. Like nothing's ever cooler in the world.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And then Slash. And then Slash is on there because you can't not. Slash is one of those obviously fantastic guitar player, also just a funny dude.
Yes.
I love Slash as a human.
Have you seen his Instagram?
He's
It's kind of concerning.
It's not as weird as Tommy Lee's.
You know what's
True.
interesting when
You see a lot on Tommy Lee's.
when we watched The Dirt.
Yeah.
Like I don't know a whole lot about music, but I know a little bit. When you were like when it was like panning through that trap house with all the people high on heroin and stuff, and you're like, hey, look, there's Slash on the couch. I was like, oh, and it just made sense. I was like,
Well, yeah, he was there when the famous story of that was the night Nikki Sixx OD'd, which did
was
go.
was it clinically dead?
Yes,
Or
he
legally?
was dead for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then he was brought back because the EMT was a Motley Crue fan.
He's like, I'm not.
And they did the one shot of adrenaline, whatever, didn't wake him up. And then they were like, started calling time of death. And he goes, no. Exact phrase was, Nikki Sixx ain't dying in my ambulance. Stabbed him again, woke him up. Quite literally kick-started his heart.
Yeah.
Which led to the song. Okay, that's another show. Because I can sit here and tell you all day about Motley Crue. Yeah, so those are my 5. Hendrix, obviously respectable. If anyone tells you,
Very yeah.
If anyone's like, he's not really that good, I'm like,
I mean, he
I
can
don't
play
know
guitar with
anybody-
his teeth.
Yeah,
I don't know anyone who would say like, oh, Jimi Hendrix.
and he was
not
absorbing
that
LSD
good.
in his headband. Like that's
Like-
that's metal as hell.
Yeah.
No, Hendrix good. I do respect Cobain. I've never been too much of a Nirvana guy. That's just because it's pettiness. Grunge killed rock and roll. So,
It did.
I can't say that.
Yeah.
I think that's also why
You got a
people
point.
don't think about, unless you like are like into music, like
Mm-hmm.
when you think about like who's the best guitarist, you don't really think grunge music.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people, but like when you ask me like who's the best person to ever play guitar, like my mind doesn't go to grunge because I don't, that sort of, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying
Yeah.
here.
Are you,
think,
are you
like-
a Harrison man? Wait, you're like actually George Harrison. I love the way he plays the sitar.
I did want to say like I feel like there are the Beatles. You could make an argument if you wanted. You could make an argument for it.
I would say definitely for bass player.
Yeah.
McCartney's hell of a bass player.
I would
yeah.
say McCartney. That's the thing is that it's like McCartney's just a good musician, but I don't know if I would.
He played. The joke is, like Ringo was the second best drummer in the Beatles.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
Actually,
on most like John and Yoko or the ballad John and Yoko, I don't know if you know that song. That was just Paul and John in the studio.
okay, this is completely off topic, and I know that we need to start moving into our segment, but
There's no one after us.
There's a clip that I saw where it was Chuck Berry playing guitar doing Johnny Be Good. I mean, and he was doing it with John Lennon. For some reason, Yoko Ono is right next to them, and she's just screaming bloody murder. I know that, but I'm like, why did she think in her brain, Johnny Be Good, one of the most classic rock songs of all time. I'm gonna scream in this microphone.
So give me Johnny Be Good. Give me the chorus of Johnny Be Good.
And then someone was posting clips of her now in the age that she is now doing the exact same thing, and she's like, dude, all the comments what did I just listen to? It sounded like someone was murdering a cat.
Did I tell you I didn't say anything? I passed Yoko Ono once though.
You walked by her?
Yeah. And I went to New York once. We did a tour of Central Park, and we got to the side that the Dakota's on, and that entrance into the park there is just a complete John Lennon. John Lennon got shot at the Dakota.
Yeah.
Complete shrine to him, and there's always people there sitting there, always playing music. 1,000%. I don't think I've ever heard Imagine more in my life than the 2 minutes I stood there.
I find it very funny that people are singing a song saying "Imagine There's No Heaven" about a guy who got murdered.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's this little old lady on a bench, and then she walked past us, and then our tour guide was like,
that was Yoko?
Yeah, he was so surprised. He goes, you guys know who that was?
Double take there.
He goes, oh, that was Yoko. And I was like, oh no.
That's the other thing. That's probably why she's like, no one's saying hi to me. It's like, you're Yoko Ono. I have a question. Now, this is going to probably end up coming out as a really bad joke, but would it be in very poor taste to be in that area, go to a park bench, and start reading Catcher in the Rye? Would it be... What if I'm just walking through Central Park and I find a good spot to sit and I start reading the book? Would I get looked at if it's I had no idea where I was? I'm really sorry.
I am writing that. That is hilarious. That's awful. That's terrible. If I walked by and you were doing that, I'd even be like, dude.
That's something that Norm Macdonald would do.
Norm would say, I'm reading a book
called Catcher in the Rye. Wait, where am I?
The Dakota.
Oh no.
Good thing I have this gun with good thing I have this 6-shooter that was loaded with 8 bullets somehow.
How'd this end up on me?
Yeah, no, that assassination is messed up.
Can't help being a Gemini.
Yeah. Oh my god. I'm glad we kept this tangent going for 40 minutes. We should probably move on to our segments here.
Probably.
Hayden, we're very happy to have you. Thank you for
you.
reaching out. Thank you for coming on.
Yep.
You're a delight. This is going to be fun. So before we get into our segments, of course, we're a little over halfway here, but
we're a little bit over halfway.
A little bit over halfway, but listen, no one's on after us. We can go a little bit long. It's fine. That comes direct from the assistant manager of the station, Sky. But if anyone knows the show here, it's about time for weather.
Yeah.
Because I'm staring at a piece of paper right now that says all DJs and specialty show hosts must do a weather update 30 minutes into every hour. And everyone also knows I do not do that at all on my own show.
Do you have to do that? Is it...
I mean...
Listen, I've been doing a show here for almost a year, and I just noticed that when we started this.
We've been doing a show since, September?
Yeah.
And we've done this every time, and
but
we haven't gotten a complaint.
Got in here, I'm like, oh, am I supposed to do that? So it feels good in here. I would say it's probably a nice 71.
Yeah, it's not...
Maybe 69.
It's very cold outside.
Cold outside, but John, this is relevant news.
No, that's what I'm saying.
We're talking about the weather.
I feel like we get into the same conversation every single time. So
you always bring up weather outside,
but
man. Who cares? We're talking about the weather right here in this
that's
room.
why I'm trying to explain that why it would feel good in here is because it's cold out there. They're upping the degrees so it feels better in here. So but I agree. I feel like it's
there's a little traffic. There's a little bit of a breeze.
It feels nice. Sometimes there's a little bit of chill that comes down, and then it
feels like there's some light coverage of light here. I don't have all the lights turned on, so a little cloudy.
I just thought the lights didn't work in here. I didn't realize that you had them.
Yeah, I just noticed that. It's like spotlights.
Yeah. Now that I'm looking at them, I'm like, oh.
Wait a minute. And then, since John keeps insisting, yes, it is also 42 degrees Fahrenheit outside.
Well,
it did rain a bunch today.
oh my gosh.
But so if people are out driving late tonight, early tomorrow, be safe. I would be surprised if that doesn't turn a little slick. The ground is still very
It might
wet,
be, yeah.
and it's supposed
Just
to be cool.
yeah, no, I walked out to the bus today and I was like, I saw the temperature, I'm like 40, 50, I'm like, yeah, I'll be fine. So I wore what I'm wearing now, so sweatpants and a t-shirt. And I got out and I started walking, I'm like, I really should have grabbed a sweatshirt. And then by the time I was like doing that, I was already at like the end of where like the driveway is for our apartment, and I was like, I'm just gonna go to the bus.
You're like, I'm just
So I just don't
You're
with
like,
it.
shivering loses pounds.
I mean, it's better. I would much rather have my arms be cold than my legs be cold. I saw way too many dudes wearing sweatshirts and shorts, and I'm like, this is not sweatshirt short weather. Sweatshirt short weather is like mid 50s. There's no, a little bit of cloud cover, but like sun's still up, no rain. That is short, and that's shorts and sweatshirt weather.
But John, you forget we're in the 8th grade.
Apparently.
We have to start wearing shorts and t-shirts everywhere. Dude, I'm not cold. It's 15 degrees.
Dude, I swear, dude. I promise.
Yeah, it's only 0 degrees. Whoa, you guys are weak.
You guys are wimps.
Bet you kiss
I
girls.
had a guy who lived in my neighborhood who would literally, he'd go to the bus stop in a t-shirt and pants. He'd get on the bus, and then underneath his pants was a pair of shorts that he would then just pull his pants off, and he'd wear shorts for the rest of the day. I'm like, you're wearing more. You're actively like making your
That's
life
called Mom
harder.
wants me to wear pants, but I'm gonna wear shorts.
I know. Like
I'm
I would
quirky.
bug. Like I'd bug.
quirky.
Yeah, I'd bug my mom and be like, I'm not wearing a coat today. I'm just gonna go stand at the bus stop in my sweatshirt, and I'd be fine. But like I would always have everything covered.
Oh
if it
no,
was
see,
cold.
like, if I did that, then I got like whooped, and then I had to wear my coat.
My mom's just like, fine.
Yeah.
If you get sick, you're still going to school. I don't care. So anyway,
Anyways, no, yeah, so weather. So it is already, yeah, it is 10:17. So I will rush a little bit through Hollywood news today.
I don't have a whole lot to talk about. For
I don't
sports,
have a
so-
whole lot either. And
Okay.
Like I said, we go over. My first piece of Hollywood news. There's a sequel announced today to the hit movie Sausage Party.
Yeah.
What is there a name for the sequel? Like,
What was it called? It was like food something.
Yeah, I think it was.
Let me look.
Yeah, you can look.
I'll find it real quick.
Yeah. So,
why do they need a second one? The first one was already bad enough.
And the first one came out like I was in like freshman year of high school, and the
Yeah,
first
that was,
one
like,
came
2016,
out.
Yeah. So people who don't know, Sausage Party is an animated rated R.
But preface that it's a very clearly a adult animated movie.
It's like how the people who know the movie Ted with a teddy bear.
Yes.
Kind of an adult spin on like a classic children's name.
Mm-hmm.
This is imagine naughty Pixar.
Yes. So it's called Sausage Party Foodtopia.
Foodtopia.
An
that's what it was.
8-course television event. So it's
Oh, it's a TV.
It doesn't
That must
sound-
be like HBO Max.
it's probably going to go to like it's with I don't know what Seth Rogen's got a deal with. It could go to Prime honestly cuz he's been
It may be Prime.
it might go to Prime where it'll be like probably like what 3 maybe 4 hour long sort
Yeah.
of. Well, it says 8 course. It's probably going to be an 8 episode television
Probably
thing.
both half an hour long.
Yeah, I would assume.
Yeah. It stars Seth Rogen, Will Forte,
All the
any like 2000s comedian you can think of.
yeah. Who was it? If they were in Superbad or
Get him on the show right now.
if they
That's
were
a
in
really good way.
Superbad.
They were in Superbad. they were in this movie, and I mean the movie was funny enough. It was dumb, but
It was
like,
funny, but like it was
Seth Rogen played a hot dog. His girlfriend was a hot dog bun. They had a sex
Kristen
scene.
Wiig. Yeah,
You can see
there's
what
a
it was Kristen Wiig.
yeah. There's a very
You mean
very
Wonder Woman 2's
Yes.
Kristen Wiig?
there's a very inappropriate ending to the movie
Yes.
that if you are watching it, if you're a
We can't say it on the. I will stop you there.
if you're an
We cannot say this on the
18-year-old
radio.
if you're an 18-year-old boy girl watching this with your parents because you think it'll be fun, just end the movie about like 10 minutes before 10 minutes before the movie's actually gonna end.
Yeah.
And then you won't have to then look at your parents differently for like the rest of your life,
because they will never look at you.
because they'll look and be like, this is the person who recommended we watch Sausage Party.
They'll look at you and they're like, "This is what we raised."
Yeah, so don't do that.
They're
Just
like-
watch it by
They're
yourself.
Googling, they're like, "What age could you stop adopting?"
Yeah, I watched that way too young at a sleepover with my
I
friend.
watched it
too.
freshman year, and at the like when I watched it, I was like, oh my
I
god.
didn't watch it in theaters when it came out, but I think I pirated it.
I did too. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so Sausage Party 2, folks.
It'll be out.
La-di-da. And then our second piece, which is oddly relevant to our conversation earlier. I wanted to bring this up.
Okay.
I was going to talk about it. Mick Mars retiring.
Oh,
I heard that.
Wow,
Yeah, so
really?
He, so Motley Crue just finished their stadium tour from the summer, or I think they started in like March, but let's just call it the summer stadium tour with Def Leppard, Poison, and Joan Jett. Fantastic show. It was awesome. Joan Jett sucks. Oh, I'm sorry. In my opinion, she's still worse. But it was, no, she's fine.
Any reasoning behind this?
Yeah.
She's better than Yoko Ono.
Well, the atomic bomb is technically better than a pile of trash, but like, you know, I'll use Side Who's Who in that scenario. But yeah, so Joan Jett, like her music's good. I like Joan Jett. I like her shtick is often she's moody. I've never seen anyone look more bored and have half-assed a set ever in my life.
Then again, she is in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Yeah, and like I think that's the mentality.
I'd rather be in LA.
Well, and here's the thing. That's
Anywhere
the mentality I
but
think she
Indianapolis.
had. It killed it. Like I was sitting there, I was like, this sucks. Like I went with our friend George. We went like because we were like, oh, we don't want to miss a second. We went to the like booth, like the merch booth. We're like, oh, we can miss Joan Jett. Like because we sat there, she like played like some of the songs we know, and I'm like, she doesn't even care. And like because it sucks because you can tell because her backing band is giving it their all.
I know. Well, because she's pretty much now it's just Joan Jett. She
Yeah,
doesn't have her band anymore.
She still has the Black Hearts, quote unquote, but the Black Hearts are a bunch of 20-something-year-olds
who have
get traded out per tour.
were not even born by the time like
No.
yeah.
But then Poison came out. Oh, complete night and day. Brett
I
Michaels,
bet.
before the set started, came out while they're still setting up and just talked about how happy he was to be there. And how like he feels so blessed that they can finally go out.
So do you think that the rest of the guys were like looking at Joan Jett like, really?
I think so, because like I think it sucked. And then they came out there and then Poison had the blast.
Because that's interesting. Because I actually when I was working when I was working for the Colts, there was one of the other guys who was working as well, and we were basically doing like event security and whatnot, and he was like, yeah, we worked the Colts game, then we had to go work Post Malone, and that was awful. I don't like Post Malone. And then he said something about like the Motley Crue concerts, like those guys are insane. That crowd was nuts. And he's like, but I like Joan Jett. Joan Jett was amazing. Like I was like, this is the exact opposite of what I heard. So this man, mind you, is
Nobody
like
wants
50
to be in
years old.
Indianapolis, right? Like,
Yeah, but no,
that's
but-
why no one ever comes to
But then
Indianapolis.
the rest of them, like they were still like, hey, we're happy to be here. What the-"
Yeah.
You know, even Def.
So she's
Def
walking and be like-
Leppard's like, hey, even though we come from London, we're happy to be here in the cornfield. You know. Like,
At least they pretended to be happy to be
So
in
did,
Indianapolis.
so did she just roll out and be like, Sherry?
Yeah, no, yeah, more or less. That was actually a very spot on impression. But anyways, no. But Mick Mars went around with them. It was a U.S. tour. He went around, killed it every night. It was awesome. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
But they just announced a couple weeks ago they're turning that U.S. tour into a world tour.
Ooh.
Without Joan Jett and Poison, because I think they are off doing their own stuff. But so Motley and Def Leppard are touring the world right
And they're big enough to fill a world stadium tour.
sure.
But I can understand Mick being like,
Mick,
dude, my back is literally falling
yeah, so
apart.
Mick
Yeah.
has ankylosing spondylitis, which is a degenerative bone disease that basically fuses his spinal blades together.
So he can't
And
move.
like slowly like brings them out towards the ground more. And beyond that, he's also going on 73.
Yeah.
And so like he's already old, and like I have so much respect for him just being like, yo, I can't do it. Like, you know, like him being like still wanting to leave on top of his game. He has a solo album coming out at some point.
What's going to be
so-
interesting now is like now we're going to get to see. I mean, I don't know if they'll pull like what.
There is
Guns
a
N'
rumored
Ro-
replacement.
Okay, so because I was wondering, like, my two things that came to mind, like, oh, they can get like a new young sort of like guitarist that's kind of like on the rise to kind of fill in and see if maybe he works. But then it also kind of like, what if they did like what Guns N' Roses did, where
hate
they
Guns N' Roses did, by the way.
where they didn't they bring in a guy? What's his name from AC/DC? Did they bring him?
Flipped.
Or it was flipped. Okay,
When Brian Johnson from
he had
AC/DC
cancer,
had,
right?
Yeah.
When they brought
They
in-
brought in Axl Rose to sing.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And I wonder if they would do that, where they're going to get like another really famous guitarists.
They are doing
That's what they're doing.
latter
Okay.
part, but rumored to be doing the latter part.
Okay.
What I thought you were alluding to with Guns N' Roses was when Axl Rose forced all the members of the band to sign over the rights and then fired all of them and then brought in completely new faces, and that's how we got Chinese Democracy, folks. The worst album, and people are like, it's not that bad. It is that bad. But yeah, no. Then that's why since Slash and Duff and all of them are back, that's why it's a big deal.
Okay.
But yeah, no. But so the rumor for him to bring him back is real quick. I'm sure my theory is that he may pop up during if they do the LA show.
Yeah.
Because they're going to go back around the US again.
What's easier for him to get to?
I'm sure he'll pop up, play "Kickstart My Heart" with them or something.
And then he
We'll
immediately
make
go back
Mars
to his house.
cameo there.
Yeah, a little kid at the end, just be like, "Hey, our buddy Meg,"
Yeah, I feel like you can't just fully replace him. He's a legend now.
Yeah, he may not go around the world tour, but yeah. But his rumored replacement is Marilyn Manson and Rob Zombie guitar player, Mr. John Five. Which is pretty good. I do enjoy some John Five. He very similar licks.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell John Five kind of grew up with that.
Yeah.
Not so much listening to them, but definitely kind of in the same I think he was already in the industry when they were releasing Dr. Feelgood. But you can tell definitely kind of prime listening.
Yeah.
The reason he's the main rumor is a huge friend of the band. They are best friends with them. He's been seen with them a crap ton recently. Out of nowhere, he's just been with them a lot. And I can't remember if it was his publicist or I think it may have been Tommy Lee's publicist accidentally put out.
Tommy Lee is letting a lot of things slide.
Yeah, who's Tommy Lee?
So
Tommy Lee's
he needs to be fired.
Yeah, Tommy Lee is definitely just letting everything fly, so that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. So John Five is rumored to be the replacement, and if so, cool.
That'll work.
Like I said, I have respect for Mick for just being like,
Yeah.
I can't do it.
At least he knew when to say when. So
he knew when to
good
say
that
exactly.
it's good.
He knew when to fold them.
Yeah. So awesome, good.
Absolutely. All right. Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for nosebleeds with John Page.
4 minutes left.
It's okay.
No.
It'll be fine.
Yes.
With Mr. John Page, our weekly sports segment. So Johnny,
Yeah.
take it away.
Welcome to the Nosebleeds. This first story that I have was actually requested.
Are you doing it?
By Logan.
Yes.
So Antonio Brown he essentially is retired from the NFL. He was a former NFL wide receiver, great player, a Pro Bowler, All Pro, amazing wide receiver. He has done quite a bit since retiring. He's been a lot of people think it's stemming from him having potentially CTE. After he had a really, really big hit that he got hit standing up, went limp, and then fell to the ground and was in catatonic shock and then woke back up. So people think he has some major brain damage from that. But he has been, of the litany of things that if you Googled what he was doing, one of those things has been trolling Tom Brady and Giselle, whatever her last name is now that she's no longer married to Tom Brady, or rumored not married to Tom Brady. They haven't made that announcement yet. Yeah. Basically, he's been taking photos of Tom Brady and Giselle, and then he's been photoshopping his face onto Tom, being like, I got your wife. Something
that's
weird.
Fair. That's fair.
It's pretty funny, and it's weird because Tom Brady, he wanted to play with Antonio Brown. He was the reason why Antonio Brown played with the New England Patriots for a day, and then he got cut from the Patriots for being crazy. And then he's the reason why Antonio Brown played in Tampa Bay, because Tom Brady's I really want to play with Antonio Brown. He's a great wide receiver. Antonio Brown lived in Tom Brady's house for a portion.
I know what he was doing.
Clearly, but that's really been the issue. And if you saw the way that Antonio Brown left, which was where he threw his pads off and he ran off the field and he was, screaming and whatnot, a lot of that has to do with the fact that he felt like the team was protecting Tom Brady more than the other players or whatever. Or I think that's something that he said. So ever since then, he's been out to get Tom Brady's neck and just been wanting to, and he's finding it hilarious that him and Giselle are getting a divorce. So that is why you saw that, because Logan saw this photo. He's like, "What is this?" And so
I really told her, I was like, "You have to cover this."
So I covered it,
This is
and
hilarious.
that's pretty much what's going on.
Thank you.
Antonio Brown is finding it hilarious that Tom Brady is going through a divorce. It's
I
essentially.
I think him finding it hilarious is kind of funny.
It is kind of funny.
The photos are kind of funny.
Yeah. So next up, I have some baseball news.
Oh, okay.
I would like. I'd like to say, America won. The Yankees lost.
Yes.
They lost to the Astros, which I guess for some people is not as good because the Astros did get caught cheating a few years ago. But in my opinion, I absolutely
Current status still pending.
yeah, I hate the Yankees with a dying passion. So this is amazing.
I don't like the Astros, but I hate the Yankees.
I know. So it's amazing that they lost because especially like these Yankees, like their player Aaron Judge is a star baseball player, and he's going to probably end up getting paid close to like $400 million for a salary because that's how good he is. And he was thinking about coming back and being a Yankee. Well, in their last game, they got booed out of their stadium because they lost. And so now it's like,
Nice.
I don't think I want, even like other Yankee players are talking to their agents like, I don't want to play here anymore. Because no one likes getting booed by your home fans when like, especially the guy's the main reason why you're in the playoffs. Like you're not doing a good case on keeping him here. So I'm here for the Yankees' downfall.
Come back from that.
Like I'm gonna
You start off the season.
yeah. So it's gonna be a fun World Series. It's gonna be Phillies against Astros. Definitely one to watch occasionally. If you're wanting to. It probably won't be a boring baseball game. Is what I'm
I know
saying.
you usually give me your football picks. Who's your pick on that?
For that one, it's tough because the Phillies have they've got really explosive players.
That's what I say Phillies.
But the Astros have just such a good system of how to play baseball. Like they're a well-oiled machine essentially, and they've also got guys who make really big plays. I think it'll come down to it's going to take a couple of games to figure out who's going to win this. Yeah. But me personally, I've got the Phillies. I think the Phillies are going to win this one. So, my picks for football, I'll get through these kind of quick.
Yeah, what is your current ranking?
Right now I'm 65-43. Last week was rough. I went 7-7. Took a lot of gambles and didn't do great.
Okay.
Put my trust in some teams that I should not be putting my trust in. So first up, Bengals versus Browns. I'm going to go with the Bengals. I mean, Joe Burrow had 4 total touchdowns and over 350 passing yards. He was fantastic, so he's probably going to absolutely massacre the Browns, and I'm not going to watch that game. Ravens versus Buccaneers. I'm going to go with the Buccaneers. It was a really close game between the Ravens and the Browns, and with how bad the Browns are, I can already tell you that the Buccaneers are better than the Browns. They're not great. They're not the team that won a Super Bowl 2 years ago, but they're definitely better than the Browns. And I think the Ravens, if Lamar Jackson doesn't play amazing and the defense doesn't start picking apart Brady, then the Ravens are absolutely losing. Broncos versus Jaguars. I'm going to go with the Broncos. The Jaguars are hit or miss. They just traded away one of their running backs, so now their backup is now becoming their starter. So you're going to see a few changes here and there. But I'm going to go with the Broncos on that one, even though they have been horrid to start the year. Bears versus Cowboys. The Bears have been trading away a couple players. Right now they've only gotten rid of one. I guarantee you that won't be the end of it because they are definitely a rebuilding team. So go with the Cowboys on that because this team is going to be in complete flux by the time we get to Sunday.
What can you give me at least one? The Bears.
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 Cardinals versus Cardinals. Cardinals versus Vikings. I'm gonna go with the Vikings on that one. Cardinals played great. They've been playing pretty good. Their defense was looking good, but I don't know. I feel like with the matchup that we're gonna have, I think we could see a Vikings win. So I'm gonna go with the Vikings. Dolphins versus Lions. Lions have just been very weak these last couple of weeks. They haven't really done anything. They're an exciting team to watch, but they're also a really bad team. So I'm going to go with the Dolphins on this one. Panthers versus Falcons. I'm going to go with the Falcons. Panthers, they're a complete mess right now, and they might be trading a bunch of their players too. So I'm going with the Falcons. Patriots versus Jets. As good as the Jets have been, I think the Patriots are going to bounce back, and I think they will beat the Jets. So I think Patriots win this one. Raiders versus Saints. I'm going to go with the Raiders. Saints are not good. And the Raiders are also not good. This is the problem. There's a ton of terrible teams this year. So really, it's kind of like, who do you think is going to be worse? And I really think the Saints are going to be worse. So I'm going to go with the Raiders. But that one is very easily interchangeable, honestly. Steelers versus Eagles. Eagles are undefeated. They look amazing, and they are 100% going to beat the Steelers. Titans versus Texans. I'm going to go with the Titans. Texans have also been pretty bad this year, and the Titans defense looked really good against the Colts. So I think that having that confidence against beating the division opponent is going to propel them and beat this team. 49ers versus Rams. I'm going to go with the Rams. 49ers they just traded for Christian McCaffrey, which is a huge acquisition, but the Rams are pretty good. I think they'll end up beating the 49ers. I think they got a little bit of revenge build up that they want to use and take it out on them. Yeah, Commanders versus Colts. I'm gonna go with the Colts. Even with they have a new quarterback. Matt Ryan's not starting anymore, so I'm gonna go with Sam Ehlinger. He's a guy who played at Texas, and I think he's played like a couple NFL downs. He's never started a game in his entire life in the NFL, so
Go him.
good luck, Indy. I'll be at that game, but I'm going with the Colts. Giants versus Seahawks. I'm going to go with the Giants here. Their Giants are looking really good this year, and the Seahawks are kind of just a mid team. They're not good. They're not bad. They're just kind of eh. Yeah. And then finally, Packers versus Bills. The Packers looked horrible, and they're going to play a Bills team that is amazing. So the Bills are definitely winning that one.
Eat it, she says.
Yeah, so there you go. Those are my picks.
There we go.
Yeah.
We'll see next week.
We'll see how that goes. I'm not feeling super confident, but I am also, I think there's a couple in there that I definitely got right. So
my favorite thing is, John, you need to have the confidence of a 6-year-old wearing a Batman t-shirt.
I don't know what that means, but
if you're on a playground 6 years old wearing a Batman t-shirt, you are through the roof.
I guess mine was, I guess you're right.
Yeah. So have that confidence.
We all need that confidence.
Yeah. But all right, so as we go on and start winding down here, it's time for my favorite segment.
Yes, it's my favorite segment too.
It's time for Florida Man stories.
Let's go!
Which, Hayden, just in case if you didn't know, John and I picked 2 Florida Man headlines throughout the week, or just crazy news in general. We do not know each other's. This is a complete surprise.
We have not mentioned it.
We'll read them live here, so give me both of them back to back. Rapid fire.
I always go first. So, first one is Florida man arrested while trying to warn Space Force about battle between aliens and dragons.
Love it.
And then the next one
Love
is
it.
Florida man tries to flee deputies on riding lawnmower.
Is that Bobby Boucher?
It
high quality.
doesn't in the mugshot that I saw. It definitely doesn't look like him.
Oh.
So
You're like,
no,
that's not Adam Sandler.
no. So yeah, those are my 2. There you go.
There you go.
They're kind of self-explanatory for what's going on. So
I had a Florida man who tried to run to Bermuda
Ooh.
in an inflatable bubble, rescued by the Coast Guard.
I remember
again.
I remember
Again?
because he did it one time and got lost, and like they were like, "Don't do it again," and he's like, "No, I need to," and because it's kind of a personal journey for him.
It's a
He
spiritual
did
journey.
it again, and he got lost.
Listen, that's.
But how far did he get though?
I know.
I believe he got on one of those attempts. He got pretty far because he was lost for a while,
Yeah.
and he almost died. I don't know if it was on the. I think the first one he got pretty far, and then the second one he didn't get as far because the Coast Guard's like really.
Well, me personally, I'm excited for the third one.
Yes, third
I
journey
hope
will be
he gets
amazing.
And then Florida man ripped urinal off the wall and ran into the woods naked.
I mean, we do that from time to time.
He wanted to renovate.
Yeah.
He was like, you know what this spot needs? Urinal.
You know what happened? He probably
He's living the bachelor's life. He wanted to convey to women, this is not a place you can stay.
what he probably happened was, let's say he's at home, his roommate's in the bathroom, he's got to pee real bad. He doesn't want to act like a freaking savage and pee in the sink. So he did the logical thing was ran to the closest, place that had a restroom, but again was naked and didn't want to be out in public that long. So he took the urinal with him
Maybe
to go to the bathroom.
Rip out the entire thing.
Syndrome.
Yes.
Wall
He was like,
included.
I can't do that here. Yeah, and he was like, all right.
Well, you're coming with me.
It's like that scene in Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, when he just goes in the bathroom and just starts ripping all the sinks off the wall. That was like his shtick. This is a pretty good Florida man headline.
Yeah.
They're getting good.
Yeah.
I like these. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're about winding down here. I
Yeah,
think
we're
that's about
10
it.
minutes over. But
This has been live from Letterman right here on WCRD 91.3, Always Better Radio. Hayden, thanks so much for joining us here tonight.
Thanks for having me.
We hope you had a blast. We certainly did. Do you have anything else you'd like to say? Anything you want to promote? Anything you want to shout out?
I think that's all I can think of. I mean, we got our Florida main stories, we got our sports updates, so I think we kind of covered it all here.
Alrighty.
All right,
Awesome.
Perfect. Awesome. Great. I don't like notes, so that works. Johnny, as always, thank you so much for joining. I feel like I don't thank you enough for this. John's
You're the one who got me into this.
Yeah,
so.
John's let me bully him into one too many things in life, and this is another clear example of it. But before we wrap up today's show, we have to end it on one last note.
Oh boy.
As viewers will know, and Hayden, just in case you didn't, at some point during the week, I write a little joke to read here on air.
Oh no.
Yes. Oh no is definitely the response.
Yeah, I'm scared
This
for
isn't
this.
Yoko. Oh no! Sounds like Tarzan who can't figure out how to.
A prepubescent Tarzan.
Prepubescent Tarzan is Yoko Ono. You could quote us on that. We're gonna get sued. Okay, this week's joke. Do you know what they call a man with no thumb?
No thumb?
With no thumb.
No thumb?
No, they call him a cab. He wasn't getting much luck hitchhiking.
It's pretty good, actually. I think
bad,
that's
not
that's
bad.
probably your best one so far.
Yeah, well, I mean...
The last one you had that I thought was pretty good was the ramen joke. That one I thought was like, you know what? That's a decent joke. This one, that's pretty
That
good.
one's on YouTube.
I don't think that one
That's one of the
is.
ones we didn't record.
Yeah.
That one joke was, do you know what the noodle said when he wanted to scare the full-grown male? Rah, man!
I thought, I was like, hey, that's actually not bad.
That sounds like something you'd see on the back of like a Laffy Taffy.
Yes. Oh my
That's
gosh.
just
Yes.
the back of a Laffy Taffy bag. All right. Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. We will be back a week from tonight, as always, right here again on WCRD 91.3.
Yep.
Always better radio. And if you really want to listen to this broadcast or catch up on any of our others, they will be on our YouTube page, which now again shows up.
Now is actually
Because
showing
we
up
have videos.
live at Letterman.
Just live from Letterman.
Yeah.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Logan Browning. This has been John Page and good old Hayden
Brucker.
Rucker.
Hardly know her. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your evening.